Hello everyone and welcome to the Top Cut. I am Kyle Pooka, and with me I have two regulars, Michael Pram and Drew Holton. Woo! And you might see some new faces. Hopefully they're new to you, because they haven't really been on the show before. But we have Brit and Ben. So Brit, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself first?
My name's Brit. I play in Missouri, and I've been playing competitively for about 3 years now. I haven't actually won anything bigger than the cities, but last year I got a Worlds invite, and this year I am sitting at 59 points, so I guess I'm going to get another one this year, but I don't know. I like the game a lot, I like to play, and I'm glad to be on the show today.
Yeah, and I think it's fitting that this would be an episode that Krim isn't here, since you were actually the one that knocked him out of Nationals last year, right?
Yeah, that was actually how I was planning on introducing myself. That's my only claim to fame, really, and I was gonna try to argue with Krim as much as I could on the show tonight, and it's a real shame that he couldn't be here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pick on someone else, I guess.
Yeah, you knocked him out of Nationals, and now you knocked him out of our show too.
Yeah,
good job.
No communication here, no communication there.
Oh.
It's really a shame.
I like where this is going.
I like him already.
Alright, so Britt will talk about you more throughout the show. And the other face you probably haven't seen on the show before is the Great White Hope himself, Ben Potter. How you doing, Ben? And why don't you introduce yourself for the people who might not know you?
I'm doing good. My name is Benjamin Potter. I play in the Maryland area. Some people know me as the Great White Hope. That's a story for another time. But I started playing in 2010. This was my first year, and I actually qualified for Worlds. I fell short last year, but this year I'm on the trek again, trying to make Worlds. 29 championship points. I think I'm going to get there.
Well, shot.
Yeah, let us know how that one goes.
A couple more battle roads, and I'm Clint.
Alright, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. The only real topic we have for tonight's show will be battle roads. So I guess let's start off. Any of you guys been to any battle roads recently? And start with Pram, I guess.
Sure.
You went to any?
Yeah, I went to 2.
Alright, you did.
Yeah. Basically, I haven't really tested that much for the format, so I just kind of showed up with my regionals deck, and then decided to change some things up. So I was like, what can I do with this? I know, I'll just throw in 3 Terrakion and a couple fighting, and just roll with it. So that's what I did. I went 4-2 the first day, and then on the second battle road, I went 4-1, made top 4, lost top 4, so not too bad, but could be better.
Okay, yeah, not too bad. And Britt, how about you? I know you've been trying to get your last few points just to make sure that you really have a World's invite sealed up. So, how have you been doing?
Well, I've been to 4 so far. At the first 2, I played Entei, and the first one I went 4-1, and I missed the top cut. And then the second one, I won with Entei. And then last weekend, I played Darkrai at the first one, and I went 4-2 and missed cut. And then on Monday, and I went to Texas, and they had a tournament on Monday, on Memorial Day. I ended up playing Vileplume Reuniclus, and I went 8-0, and I got first there. So that's my battle roads so far.
Not bad. So that brings you to, what, 59 championship points? Oh.
Yeah, I think that's 5 battle roads I've won now, so I can potentially get a few more points off them, but I'm not sure how many more I'm going to play in till Nationals.
Okay.
Probably not too many.
Yeah. I think you're probably safe at this point for an invite. But one other thing I just want to go into deeper is that Entei deck. Like, I started playing it on stream almost as a joke. I didn't think the deck would be that great. And I actually started winning games with it, and didn't really understand how, but I did. But you actually did really well with it. So, can you just explain how you actually did that well with that deck? Because it always seemed very underwhelming to me.
Well, I didn't see your games on the stream, so I'm not entirely sure how you built the deck. But I played just a ton of healing cards. I played 4 Potion, 4 Moo Milk, and 4 Max Potion, and then a heavy Eviolite count. And I just attempt not to die the whole game and try to deck my opponent out, or just take 6 prizes. I have a big problem, like a real big problem with an Eviolited Mewtwo. But other than that, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem when I tried to use the deck. Someone would just power up a Mewtwo, and I'd be like, and he's not very good against that. But otherwise, yeah, seems like those big EXs with just a bunch of healing cards have become sort of popular, and it really works out. Which is strange when you look at Entei and just see it does 90 damage. But hey, it worked out, so congrats for you. But also, you played the Truth. How did that actually work still?
It kind of acted like that Klinklang deck, more or less, but just through Trainer Lock, and use Darkrai to free retreat and like Rainbows and Prism, and just hope to go the distance there. Just play cards for the metagame. I played Groudon EX, Darkrai EX, Kyurem EX, and I didn't actually end up playing against Zekrom Electric at that event, but I played against Darkrai, I think 4 times total, and CMT 3 times total, and I beat them. Like, I don't know if I'm still not sold if it's necessarily a great deck, but the Darkrai matchup didn't seem that bad, and if that's the most popular deck for Nationals, it could have some potential.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't a deck I would have expected to even be around still, but hey, it worked, so it's kind of cool to see it come back. But alright, let's get some feedback from some other guys. Drew, did you got any more battle roads?
No. I'm right where Ben is. A couple of battle road wins could really propel me into the top 40, but I decided to take the weekend off. It's Memorial Day.
Points.
Yeah, I need about 25 points. Do they make battle roads that count them up for what? Anyways, took off Memorial Day weekend. Gave myself a little break.
A little break from the top 1 battle road you went to?
Yeah. I'll go some more this weekend. Like 1 or 2. Yeah.
Alright. And Ben, how about you? What were you up to?
Yeah, I went to the same battle roads as Mike, and I played Trachean Mewtwo the first day with EXP shares and Eviolites. I mean, it's good counter to some of the decks, and some of the other decks not so much. But then second day I played Darkrai Tornadus, and I also made top 4 there. Well, not also, but also as well with Mike. And that's not a very good matchup versus the Terrakian Eel thing. So that cut me out. But overall, I learned a lot from the battle roads about the format.
That's all that counts. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess the results from battle roads have been a little lopsided in favor of Darkrai decks. Just taking a look at the list, I don't know how fully updated it is, but from what I can see, 30 Darkrai decks have won battle roads so far, which is a ton. And then the second best is Zekrom Electric with 9. So, what do you guys think? Is the format really that dominated by Darkrai, or are people just kind of jumping on the bandwagon with the new cards? And we'll throw it to Brit, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a little of both right now, honestly. I do think that the Darkrai deck is very strong. I think Dark Patch is obviously very good, and but at the same time, it is the new set and the new cards, and it just happened to create an archetype that can't compete with the format and is potentially favored against most of the format. But I don't know if it's necessarily by far the best deck or should be putting up numbers like we see right now. For instance, like the Zekrom Electric deck with Terrakion text. I think that deck, that sounds like a pretty hard matchup, and so just things like that, things with Terrakion seem like it could give it trouble, so I don't know if it's necessarily a deck that's going to remain unchecked for the rest of the format.
Yeah, I can see that. It seems like a lot of people either are playing Darkrai or they're just like, well, this thing's probably not going to be that popular, it just came out. So a lot of people weren't even equipped to face it, but maybe people will adapt to it as battle roads go on, especially going into nationals. Anyone else want to chime in? Do you think Darkrai is really that good, or is it just kind of the hot thing right now?
It's good, definitely. I think a lot of people just kind of don't know what to do versus it, or rather, how to build a deck to be equipped against Darkrai. Like, even the players playing Zekrom Electric with Terrakion, that's actually a hard deck to build properly, because like it's actually very clunky if you build it wrong. Because you can sometimes get like all fighting or all lightning, and then you can't use Terrakion, and you kind of and you have to play the matchup a certain way, or else your Terrakions don't actually do anything. So I think it's a little bit of Darkrai being really strong, and a little bit of just people don't know how to properly deal with Darkrai yet.
Alright, yeah. Anyone else want to chime in?
I want to know how so many people are getting Darkrai's. It's like a $50 card. You guys are psychos.
I got 3.
Spend your money on, I don't know, something else. Something meaningful.
I have 3 Darkrai's, and I've opened 10 packs total. And I've only gotten Darkrai from packs.
Must
be nice.
Or you can just beat Pram. Yes.
Hey,
Which
man.
Darkrai's, Pram?
1
art?
full art and 2 normal art.
How are you so lucky?
Well, I went to a pre-release one day, and then I opened 2 Darkrai's. One from the 6 packs, and then when they give you 2 more, that add another Darkrai. And then they give you.
To be fair, it was his birthday.
It was. I just
Kinda like rub your head at nationals for good luck.
And then at the battle road I just went to, you get 2 packs for 4th or top 4. So I opened my 2 packs, and there was another Darkrai, and that equals 10 packs.
It's a good thing you didn't win.
You should bottle your sweat, man. Get that luck out there. Sell that stuff.
I'll just bottle it, and then when I need it, I just rub it on my hands and just say like, got it.
Maybe.
Alright, well, Darkrai definitely has been the story of Battle Roads and the international national championships so far. I think it's won almost all of them. But we have been seeing other decks pop up. Last week we briefly mentioned the Klinklang deck that won a Battle Road, and it actually won a couple more this week. So, what do you guys think? Is Klinklang the real deal? Can it actually survive in this format, or were they just flukes? It has 3 wins now, not just the one it had last time. So it's still around. Do you guys think this is going to be a deck that's going to be a competitor come Nationals? Whoever wants to answer.
No.
Yes. I will take the opposite side. Yes.
Alright. I'll go first. So, I don't see how Stage 2s can be viable at all in this format, especially one like Klinklang, which seems like is a fragile engine. You gotta get your max potion thing going on. You have Darkrai on the bench. You have an EX thing on the bench, and all these decks are taking in Terrakion for the solo version of that deck. So you just have this big target on your bench. That's 2 prizes all the time, all day in my mind. And when that's gone, I think the deck is a lot worse. And there's gonna be those games where you're slow, and all your little Klinklang juniors are getting picked off on the bench with catcher.
So they're going Clink, yeah.
You can't win those. Yeah, I don't know what those are called.
What's the middle one
Clink and
called?
Clang.
Clank, Clang, and
Clang,
Clink.
Clang.
Oh, they're smart.
There's gonna be games where you lose because of that, because you're just naturally slower. And in a tournament like Nationals, there's a lot of rounds of top cut, and that's probably going to catch up to you at some point, and you're not going to make it through 15 or so rounds. That's my opinion.
Well, the plus side to this Klinklang deck, you can also run Meganium if it chooses. They do the same thing, pretty much. First off is you can just run any EX you want. So, like, against Terrakion, you can just run some random grass Pokemon, like a Shaman. You can, like, against Darkrai, you can run, like, Groudon or your own Terrakions. And it's just kind of like, it's just well-equipped if it gets to the late game. I mean, getting there can be an issue, but you can probably get away with twins at this point, because you just assume, I'm going to be behind. And once you get your stuff out, as long as you don't get one-shotted, you max potion past everything scot-free. So, like, as long as they don't one-shot you, you actually just win the game. So it's not bad. Definitely worth considering.
Alright, Brit or Ben, got anything you want to add in?
I'll go next. I'm going to disagree with Pram. I just don't see it being very good. I feel like there's a time issue that the deck has for sure, and then I also feel that energy denial is just too strong against it. Like, if the Darkrai variants that play the Sableye and Crushing Hammers, or even just decks with cards like Lost Remover, become popular at all, I feel like that deck will just die. It just dies to Crushing Hammer and would die to Lost Remover, because it's all manual attachments, and you just have to get to this point where you get your 3 energies on the board. And if someone can keep you from doing that all game, then I don't think you can really do anything.
Well,
So I feel...
Yeah.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm done.
I think Lost Remover is kind of like a card that's not going to see much play, if any, because, like, there's not many decks that run Special Energy, and Darkrai, I mean, even the Special Darks can be a little clunky with Darkrai, because sometimes you're just like, oh man, I can't Dark Patch, because it's a Special Dark. So you may see, there may be like a trend for less and less Special Energies being played, thus less Lost Remover. And as for Crushing Hammer, that's always a flip. If it gets to that point and they get a lot of heads, yeah, I guess. But, you know, I think it's alright. It's definitely...
Pram, did you see the deck that won, like, Norway?
No.
Did you see that deck?
Finland. Did you see Ace's deck that won Finland Nationals?
I did not.
Well, I'll fill you
Sableye.
in. It's a Darkrai deck with Sableye, and it runs 4 Crushing Hammer and 2 Lost Remover / Enhanced Hammer, whichever one you want to run. And he just sits there and keeps using Junk Hunt with Sableye and discards all your energy. And he went undefeated.
Really?
So this deck surely will become popular.
What does he do versus, like, any type of energy acceleration or mirror match?
It's a Darkrai deck. It's got Crushing Hammer.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, like, if they just run better...
With this in mind, do you think Klinklang is still a viable deck?
No, of course not. But, like, I don't think that's going to be that popular.
What?
This guy runs the site, the Deck Out, and he posted his lists and his report.
I mean, I just don't like...
And he went undefeated at
I just don't like Crushing Hammer, alright?
You might not.
like Crushing Hammer. Just heads.
Oh, my mistake. Energy removal is pretty good.
The deck also just runs out of stuff. If you like, it needs like 4 switches and 4 max revives, and if you fill the deck with like 4 of each of those instead of like just using junk arms for them, like at the end of the game, if they've taken like 3 prizes before you get set up, like it just runs out of stuff to use junk arm on, and it doesn't have like things left, and stuff has to just sit on the bench with like a bunch of damage on it. I played against it and I like lost to it, but that was because I used Smeargle and I like Junipered away like 2 junk arms, and then I did it again, and it was like another catcher and another junk arm. So I ended up not having any catchers left, but there was just stuff all over. There was like 3 different EXs on the field with like 100 damage on it.
Yeah, I don't think the deck actually runs a lot of switch. It actually takes advantage of Darkrai, giving everything free retreat. So you can shift around like the rainbow energy, and your active gets free retreat. So you just retreat for free, shift all the energy, and then you max potion all the damage off.
So I'm just an idiot.
I was trying to stop you, man.
I mean, also if you run it, you can also run Blissey if you wanted.
Yeah, but it runs 4 max potion. You're right. That's the whole theory behind the deck. Is based around the same deck that won Japanese Nationals, the Darkrai High Dragon thing, where you just shift all the energy off. But the difference is, like Brit said, you have to attach manually every turn. So it's slowly, one by one, attaching energy. So you're going to get killed by stuff that can actually remove your energy from play. I think even a deck that runs like 1 Lost Remover and then just junk arms for it over and over, that's going to give you trouble. So
yeah, I mean, the deck auto loses the Lost Remover, clearly.
Yeah. It's really strong when it sets up. It really is. I mean, the Klinklang has 140 hit points. It's really tough for anything to knock it on 1 hit. And then, obviously, the 180 hit point EXs, especially if you play Eviolite on them, those are going to be really tough to knock out in 1 hit. So it's almost like a version of the truth, but you're letting people play trainers because you're like, oh, my Pokemon are so buff that you're not even going to be able to knock them out with trainers. So that's kind of what it is. It's like Krim was trying to use Venus Center for all those years, and now it's finally solid.
Well,
he's not even here to enjoy it.
Well, that's what the deck is. It's just Venus Center.
Yeah. And you're right, it could also be Meganium instead. I don't know why people want to use Klinklang.
Yeah, I mean, you can use Meganium and then just one-shot Terrakions or...
water resistance.
Yeah, that water resistance is good against Glaceons, I guess.
Empoleon.
I think it's a heavy ball thing. I think all the little guys can be heavy balled, and along with all the EXs is probably the only the difference between the decks.
Yeah, that's true. I also think the deck could run one of the other Klinklangs from, I think it was Emerging Powers, that for 1 energy it gets an energy back from the discard pile. So maybe it could develop into something with energy acceleration, but stage 2s are slow enough as it is.
I mean, like, the deck is going to be clunky, but I think if it ever sets up, it's a force.
It's going to be clunky.
That was really bad. if you ever set up and you can get it to set up consistently, I think it's very strong, but it's just kind of getting to that point.
Alright, well, I think we've beaten that one to death. So before we move on to viewer questions, I just do want to go into the deck that won Finland Nationals, which was the Darkrai Sableye, aptly named Hammer Time deck with 4 Crushing Hammer, and for whatever reason he decided to use Enhanced Hammer instead of Lost Remover. Said he didn't want to disrupt the feng shui of the deck, so he just ran all hammers. Obviously Lost Remover is better, but for most purposes, Enhanced Hammer is the same thing, unless you're facing a Steelix deck. But what do you guys think? Is this the real deal? Is this kind of variant better than a normal Darkrai deck? Or was this just kind of a gimmick that worked one time? Whoever wants to take.
I think it'll have problems versus Eels or maybe even Celebi variants. Simply because you're using a turn to get back your Crushing Hammers, and if you ever get a double Tails, then you just kind of wasted a turn, and you've given up prizes because the Sableye's probably going to get knocked out pretty easily. So I think it kind of just relies on Darkrai, which is fine. Darkrai's obviously really good, but I think the hammer gimmick is just kind of like maybe you can do something better with it.
Anyone else? Hammer time?
I think, like Pram said, it is a gimmick, but in certain scenarios, I can see why it would be maybe better. Certain scenarios in metagames, why it would be better than just like a standard list with Tornadus. I read his report, and I think he played a 6 corners deck twice, and Crushing Hammer is pretty good against 6 corners, so I mean there's some free wins for him right there, but like against a quad Terrakion or a quad Groudon or an Entei deck even, the Crushing Hammers are certainly very powerful in matchups like that, but I don't see them being very good against an Eel deck or an Eel heavy metagame, and they seem pretty silly in that matchup, but maybe not. I haven't tested it, but it's maybe worth looking into.
Yeah, the one positive thing about the deck is it has an auto win against any deck that doesn't run like energy acceleration, like the 6 corners deck. My God. That was just a free win. Alright, and Drew, sorry I cut you off.
Yeah, you should be sorry. I don't know how good the list is, but I definitely think it's going to have a huge effect on Nationals, just because I don't think there was a Darkrai list out there available, like a national winning deck list, and now everyone that's wondering how to run Darkrai is just going to grab this list and start playing with it, and I think a lot of lists at Nationals are going to be based off of this, for better or worse, so I don't like playing against energy removal too, so it's going to be a fun day.
And Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, kind of what Drew said. They see this thing win in Nationals, so a lot of people will think, you know, they're going to start playing with it and testing it, and I also think they're going to be playing and testing like with a lot of Eel matchups, so they're going to realize that the Sableye thing might not work, but I could see a lot of Darkrai decks now having the Crushing Hammers in it, just for a little bit of disruption.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes playing against Crushing Hammer. That's one of those cards where you just see it and you're like,
I love it. They always
You love it, huh? You see your opponent play down a Crushing Hammer and you go to shake their hand, you're like, thank you, sir, may I have another?
And my opponents are like 2 for 40 against me. They just go nuts with Crushing Hammer. They'll play 3 in 1 turn, nothing, no problem.
Really, I had the opposite experience where they'll play 3 or 4 over a course of a game and it's all heads. I just go, oh, that's pretty good when you know tails.
That never happens to me.
Alright then. Well, unless you guys got anything else to say for now, we're going to move on to viewer questions. So, for anybody watching, please ask some questions on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/TopCutPokemon. I'll post the link in the chat, and we'll just get right into those. I don't think we need a break tonight,
No.
so let's just get right to it.
Dude, what is this? There are laws, labor laws, dude. I need my break.
We're working you harder tonight. Slave wages. All right,
I'm not doing any questions until I get my trailer.
Well, it was nice knowing you then, Ben. So from Matt Jackaruso, how do y'all feel about the new format that'll be implemented after Worlds, which will be black and white on? Do you think it'll be a better format or worse than what we have now, with those losing cards like Junk Arm, Oak's New Theory, Dual Ball, Collector, Smeargle, Twins, etc., etc.? And do you think it'll be a little slower, or will it stay the same? So, what do you guys think about black and white on? Good or bad?
Necessary? I guess is a better word. I don't know if it's good or bad. Haven't really looked into it much. But I think format rotations are necessary. Otherwise, you have like a deck like Gardevoir staying around for 3 years.
Or SP.
Yeah. And you don't want like one deck to be dominant for that long, because then the format kind of grows a little stale. So it's good to change things up every so often. But I think it'll probably end up being fine. I mean, I don't think a format. I mean, everyone kind of moans and groans about the current format, but when you look back on it, you go, it wasn't so bad. So it'll probably be okay.
Alright.
I guess they officially announced that then?
Did they?
No, they didn't. Just people assume it's sort of.
Okay. Well, if it is like that, I guess I'll be a little. I'll probably be happy just because like the art of the cards will look better. It'll like they all look like they go together art-wise now, and that'll look nice. Plus, all these primes are just underrated now. Like they're outclassed by all the EXs and stuff. You gotta spend a rare candy and a bunch of time to get there. Might as well just get rid of them. Just play with all basic Pokemon. I think that's a good idea. There's no point in having anything bigger. You can't get there. They're not as strong. But if you want 5 sets of cards just gone, that would be the time to do it.
Thanks for that wonderful insight, Ben.
Have you been drinking, Ben? What is
The
that?
kids show.
What?
Drew or Brit, you got any opinions on what Black and White On is going to be like?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like now more than ever we're more connected with Japan. So, at least to a certain extent, I feel like the archetypes are probably already a little set in stone. Like we've seen that, or if you've looked, the Hydreigon deck is doing well in Japan's metagame, and that would be our next set. And if we were Black and White On, I can definitely see people trying out a deck like that. And so I think that's an interesting turn that we already sort of know what may or may not be good in a future format. But with cards like Junk Arm, well, I guess mostly just Junk Arm gone, I think the format may slow down a little bit. I mean, that card's so powerful. It just lets you play catcher 8 times a game, and now if you can only play it 4, if you have the Juniper catchers away, things are going to slow down a little bit. So I think it'll be a good format, but only time will tell.
All right, Drew.
I look forward to the rotation. Next.
Yeah, I think the main complaint a lot of people have had about this format is that it's really cut and dry. Like States was just, oh great, Mewtwo, Mewtwo, Mewtwo. And now people are like, oh great, Darkrai, Darkrai. Or people complain it's just all Zekrom electric decks. But we see quite a bit of diversity from Japan's tournament results. All sorts of different decks doing well. So the game's going to be more wide open, I think, which will be cool to see. So I'm looking forward to the rotation as well. But I just want to comment, it never fails that people always look so far ahead. No offense to Matt who asked the question, but like we have Battle Roads and Nationals, like the biggest event of the year, like a month away. Why are you thinking about Black and White On, man? Like there's a big tournament
Maybe
coming
he can't
up.
go to National.
This is true,
Or
but this format hasn't even been figured out yet. So it always amazes me how people always look so far ahead when like there's a big event right in front of us. But just wanted to get that out of the way. But I'm going to throw a curveball here, and I'm going to ask my own question aimed at Brit. You are a big part of the board Hey Trainer, which I feel like is kind of the new age community of Pokemon. You know, most of us, not including Ben, are kind of like the dinosaurs of Pokemon. We've been around forever. But you guys are kind of the new age. So can you just talk about what Hey Trainer is all about, and has it helped you become a better player, and just whatever you want to say about it?
I couldn't hear your last part. Your sound went out on me. Could you repeat that?
Sure. So you're part of Hey Trainer. I feel like it's the new age community of Pokemon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So do you feel like Hey Trainer has helped you at all? And is there anything you want to say about that community and what exactly goes into it?
Well, when I first started playing, that was my main resource for information. I kind of just lurked on that board for quite a while, and I eventually started posting. And I don't know if I necessarily would say it helped improve me in the game. I met some people through the board, and I met other people just through the game, and I feel like a lot of my improvement is shown through just certain friends I've made and people that I test with. But as far as Hay Trainer in general is concerned, I feel like maybe a reason why it's popular is just the lack of censorship. Like, as immature as that may sound, people just they like to swear and they like to get real aggressive with each other, apparently. And I don't really I do post a fair amount, but not nearly as much as I used to. But people just like to argue, and Hay Trainer provides them an outlet to argue with the vocabulary that they're accustomed to. So, and it just, people like that. People like being able to talk like that as opposed to being PM'd by evil Psyduck to calm down and things like that. So I think like New Age may just mean passive aggressive, but people seem to like that.
Yeah, nobody likes getting their post locked by SD Pokemon, so I can understand that. But you mentioned there's been some people who influenced you getting better. Who would those be?
I mention most of these people every time because they're all pretty important. But people like Colin Mall, Aaron Curry, Matt Sowerby, they're all very important. They've all helped me a whole lot and just teach me a lot about deck building and ideas and learning. And I certainly wouldn't be where I am today without them. So I'm very thankful that they took a scrub under their wing and helped me out a little bit. But such is the game. So there's other people I didn't name, and I apologize, but those are the three that came to mind.
Alright, yeah, I don't think you can call yourself a scrub anymore. You qualified for Worlds last year, and you're like #1 in championship points this year, but it's always good to be humble. Alright, so let's move on to the next question from Jack Eiler. Says, this question is to Brit. What is your favorite Good Luck Varsity song?
Lake.
Alright, there you have it, Jack. Hope you're happy.
Solid pick. Solid pick.
Alright, and from Kevin Kobayashi. This is a question for Pram and Brit. How much do you guys bench?
More than
we'll
you
throw
do.
this one to Ben,
Next.
too.
Ben.
Alright, you guys don't want to say, huh?
No idea.
Modest.
I haven't gone to
More than-
bench press in a long time, man.
More than Kevin, guaranteed.
Okay.
Show match at Nationals.
We're gonna have a bench press showdown.
If I
In the
have
middle of the
to.
tournament hall, we'll just bring in some bench press.
Bring in the free weights.
Yeah.
Or they could bench like the Great White Hope or something. Crim. How many crims?
I can't bench me.
Okay, next one is from Dwayne Schonberg. First question is Klinklang competitive at a national setting, which we already went over. His next question is Tornadus Aerodactyl good? I'm probably going to speak for all of us, and I say probably not. We don't have to go into that one
the
too much.
deck is
I
a better
think-
question.
I think 50% of that deck is good.
Oh, which 50%, Pram?
You decide.
Alright, Aerodactyl.
Depends on which Tornadus.
And number 3, what is the best Darkrai deck variant? You can actually,
I would say Darkrai Terrakion. Tornadus is a good card and everything, but like the main thing standing in Darkrai Tornadus' way is the Eels Terrakion deck. So if you have a Terrakion, or 4 Terrakions, or 3 or whatever, it gives you a lot better chance versus Eels.
okay. What do you guys think?
Maybe just straight Terrakion?
It's a Darkrai, not Terrakion.
I meant Darkrai. I was thinking...
Which Darkrai variant is the best? Or Terrakion, nothing else.
No Darkrai.
I was thinking because it's not really Eels that beats you, it's the Terrakion part. So I was just like, well, you just need to have some way to deal with Terrakion. And conveniently, Darkrai has a pretty good answer to Terrakion by just not killing things right away. You can just take 2 prizes and then get Terrakion and be okay. So, straight Darkrai.
Okay. What else?
I don't know. Straight Darkrai sounds fine. I feel like a Mewtwo or 2 is still needed in the deck. I feel like a really big, like, Shaman Unleashed Mewtwo play, even with Resistance and Eviolite, can still be really good against Darkrai if you had enough energies on the board. So, regardless of if you want to play Tornadus or Terrakion, I still feel like you should at least play 1 copy of Mewtwo. So, Darkrai Mewtwo.
Okay, Drew?
I don't really know. I didn't really like the Sableye Crushing Hammer version, but that's all I've tested so far, so I'll hold my judgment on the other ones.
Okay. I actually don't know which version I like the best. I don't even think Tornadus EX works that well with Darkrai, but I just like having a deck full of big basic EXs, so I agree that Mewtwo should be played. That's just too good not to be included. But, I mean, really, I don't think it actually matters, because Darkrai is just pretty good. And his sidekick is just kind of like, whatever. That can vary. Just as long as you play Darkrai and Dark Patch, you're probably going to do alright.
So what you're saying is we can play Entei Darkrai and be okay?
He could, yeah. I mean, he would have free retreat because of Dark Energy, so it's not going to be a liability. So if you really want to confuse somebody, yes, you can put down an Entei.
I'm going to get on this right away.
You can drop 6 different types of Pokemon, and it's okay. You have Darkrai.
It's your next challenge for Bad Deck Monday. It's Darkrai Entei. The viewers are expecting it, so better not let them down.
Alright, let's move on. Another Klinklang question. We've already answered those. People really like this Klinklang.
See?
Wingity.
It's just like the endgame situation where they're like, I have everything. I have all these EXs on the board. I have 6 different types of Pokemon.
That's the best theory, Mon. You get to the end game, we're done. That's how we do it. Klinklang.
It's like the Protoss of Pokemon. If you get to that end point, you're okay. Getting there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah, there we go. Crossing over into StarCraft 2. Anyway, Dwayne Schonberg asked, are we ever going to do an uncensored show? Which is something we mentioned we were probably going to do a while ago. Yeah, we will do it at some point. I just don't know when. But the next question is from a bunch of random consonants in a row.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah. I don't think you can actually pronounce that name.
Just give it a shot.
So from Medistif. Who are your 3 favorites to win U.S. Nationals in Masters?
Oh, can we include ourselves or no?
Yeah, I know you're going to include yourself, Pram. So go ahead.
Yes. So I only have to name 2. 2 other people.
God knows no one is including Krim, so good thing he's not here today.
What do you put himself in there?
He would have done it.
I think he would.
I don't know.
I know he would.
So.
He'd be the only
He
one.
would. Alright, Pram, who's your other 2 besides
Alright,
yourself?
So me, unfortunately not Kyle. There's no way that happens that many times in a row.
That's not how statistics work, man.
I know, but like, he's got to run bad sometime, right?
It's gotta be bad sometime.
I guess I'd be kind of stupid to not put Tom Dolezal on there. Though, like, he gets deep, but sometimes he just...
He's been playing, man. He's ready. This guy has play points and everything.
Yeah, man. Oh, really?
He knows what the
He
cards
has
do
10?
this year.
He has 10 points?
Yeah. I think so.
Did he, like, that creeped up on us, like, really bad. Because I didn't know he went to any events this year.
Oh, he went to some leagues. He's been lurking.
Okay. Okay. That's right. You can get play points from league. So good for him. Let's see. One more person. It's probably going to be some unknown person. I don't know.
Favorites. Who's a favorite?
Favorites. Get back to me on a second. I'll come back on the last one.
Dodging the question. All right, Drew, go.
Alright, I'm going to start off with my boy, Big Dustin Z. He's been having a good season. Won a bunch of states and regionals and cities or whatever, so he's got to be my favorite right now. He's had a hot
he
season.
actually has so many points from states that he didn't even go to regionals. You know that?
He blew it off. He's a
Yeah.
big shot.
That's how many points he had. That's how good of a season he had. But anyway,
Number 2 is going to be my boy Kyle S. Yeah.
Sable House.
No. Does he even play?
Yes.
Yeah, he
Sukovic.
does.
Sukovic. He makes top 4 every year. Maybe he'll actually win again one of these times.
Nope.
And I'm going to go with the Great White Hope. He needs a breakout season. This is it. He's going for his marquee event. He's going to make history.
All right, Brit, what do you think?
I'll be a little different. I'll start off with a little unknown. You may have heard of him. You may not have. Kyle Sukovic. He'd be my first pick. Second, I'm gonna go with Gino. Everyone loves Gino. I love Gino. I think Gino's in it to win it this year. And then a third, Matt Sowerby. So there's my 3.
You just killed Drew a little on the inside.
I'm going. Show's over.
Yeah. Oh man.
If
No
you
offense.
don't remember, Drew did take second in 2008. To a certain bandana wearing
Stings deep.
Mr. Lombardi. But fair choice. Gino has taken second, and he also has top 8 under his belt. So he's performed pretty well at nationals. But Ben, who are your picks?
I'm going to take myself as the first pick. I'm a player, so, you know. And then I will take Kyle. You're my second pick. And then I will take Mike. He's my third pick. Figure I'd just take the 3 best players in the game. Pick them.
It's a very bold statement.
No, you're good. You should have faith in yourself.
I got my third pick.
All right, go ahead.
Come on, Dad. I got him to play a certain card, so he's gonna roll with it all day.
Alright.
Alright, well, my 3 picks, I'm going to be riding people that are doing well this season. I'll go with Brit. I think he's having a good season. I think he's got a good shot. Then I'll go with... and I'll go with Dustin Zimmerman, also having a very good season. And for my third pick, tough call. I'm going to go with someone who had a lot of championship points too. The name that comes to mind is Austin Baggs. He's had a really good season as well. So those are my 3 picks. I'm just picking them off the top of the leaderboard. And yeah. Of course, you have to remember there were over 900 players last year in Masters, so picking 3 people is kind of tough.
I feel
Especially when it's a 3-day event now.
Yeah, I feel like if it was a top 10, it's much easier to fill out.
If it was a top 10, you would still probably struggle to get one person that made the final.
I would get to 9, and then I'd be like, who do I really want as my 10th player?
I feel like even with 10, Krim is still not making anyone's list. So no love lost.
I might like, if I need him to do something for me, I might put him on there. And then be like,
Krim, I'll put you on my list. Go get my bag.
To be fair, to be fair, Krim had a very good showing last year at Nationals. He didn't even
Did he?
play Pokemon Communication. He made
I
top
seem to
64, and he lost to somebody. I don't remember who. But he got all that way.
He did play Communication for like 3 rounds,
Yeah.
and then he was no longer playing Communication.
Yeah. It's alright. Let's go to the next question from Kevin Cranberry Murphy. Brit, when did you decide to be so beautiful?
Well, I'm not sure how to answer that. Maybe when I started playing Pokemon, I'll give a little inspiration to a lot of you out there. Back in the day, I wasn't playing Pokemon. I was just a normal kid. Picked up some cards, picked up a Gyarados starter deck, and then boom, I'm a beautiful person now. So for those watching at home, they'll do wonders for you. So play Pokemon, look beautiful, live the life.
Those are wise words. You can learn from him, folks. Alright, from Christian Cobian, all the way from my state of Wisconsin. It says, Pooka has known me to be one who complains about cards they make because of how imbalanced they make, how imbalanced they are, like Mewtwo EX, Darkrai EX, Catcher, etc. These 3 cards destroy over 90% of the format. Do you think it's healthy for the game? And what do you guys think they could do to fix this? And why do they keep doing it? So do you think cards like Mewtwo and Darkrai are good for the game? And what can be done to stop things like these from happening, if you think it's a bad thing? Kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's good for the game. It makes playing against people easy. They go Mewtwo, and then you just go, oh yeah, you went Mewtwo first, I went GG.
That's good for the game.
Yeah. It just shows, like, hey, you pulled the trigger first and got antsy. Here you go. You can sign this up now.
Anyone else?
I guess it's bad just because I guess people want more diversity in the game, like a more wide variety of decks, and if that's something you want, it's bad. And I guess if you want to counteract that, you could just have more research and development, or smarter people at research and development. But if that's your thing, then that's fine.
Step 1, learn Japanese, and then you can take step 2 to get on that road.
No thanks.
Alright, Britt or Drew?
Well,
I think. Oh, you can go. You got it.
Oh, both at the same time.
Yeah.
Just
both
talk
at the
over
same time.
each other.
Alright. Alright, well, I don't think it's good for the game necessarily, but I don't really know why they're doing it, other than the most logical answer is to make money. I mean, if you need this one card to be able to compete, logically people will just buy more packs, but I do think it's a good thing that the tins, like Post Worlds, have all these good cards in them, so at least in the future, things will be a little more affordable. But for now, I don't know what they're up to.
I almost feel like their R&D just gets excited over one concept, and they just go way too far with it. They're like, oh, Mewtwo, he's so strong in the video game, let's make him superhuman here.
It could be just one guy. They're all working together, and there's just this one guy who's like, I'm going to make this amazing card. Oh yeah, and then I'm going to beat everybody with it. They won't even know what hit them. So he makes his card, and everybody goes, wow, that card's great. No, this is not how this is supposed to happen.
Alright, Drew, what did you want to say?
I think it's bad for the game overall. I mean, they're good cards, but like they don't really interact with the rules well. There's already a disadvantage going first and stuff like that. And these overpowered fast cards kind of compound that, and the game's not as fun anymore. If you look back to like 2008 when I started playing again, you had kind of these slower decks. They were more intricate, and there was more strategy involved. I think it was more of a chess match, where now it's just you try to take a first prize and maneuver yourself into a position where you win an EX battle or something like that. and it's not really much upper level thinking, I think, compared to in previous seasons.
Yeah, the biggest problem I had with Mewtwo was just the games that ended in like 4 turns, because somebody was like, "Go Mewtwo, X-Ball," and the other person was like, "Go Mewtwo, X-Ball, knock out your Mewtwo," and then they would just trade Mewtwo's and the game would end. I think anytime that happens, it's kind of dumb. It really makes the game simple, and Mewtwo is so strong that you really couldn't avoid those kind of situations unless you were playing a deck like the Terrakion deck, which didn't really play Mewtwo, but even that started to include Mewtwo because that's how good Mewtwo was. So I think it's silly when that kind of stuff happens, but otherwise I don't mind something like Darkrai. I don't think that card is too bad for the game. I thought the Mewtwo was kind of silly, but even that introduced a certain element of skill because for the most part the person who played it first lost. So still the better players ended up winning a lot of the time. I don't like when everything centralizes around one card, but I do think the whole diversity thing is a little overrated. I could care less if there are like 10 viable decks. If the format is bad, then the format is bad. It doesn't matter how many decks there are. If there's only like 2 playable decks and the format is really skill-based and fun, then I think that's better than having a bunch of viable decks. I think I'm in the minority when it comes to this kind of stuff, but that's how I feel about it. So I didn't mind when the format for states and regionals was like Zekrom Electric versus CMT. As long as the games weren't too luck-based or anything like that, which they could be at times, but I don't mind stuff like that. So, I don't know. I think it's silly. I kind of feel like what happened was the guy had a collection of all like the Pokemon movies on his shelf in the research and development team, and he just kind of picked one randomly, and the first one he got was the first movie, and he's like, "Yeah, Mewtwo." That's the big card. Then the next one he got was Darkrai, and he's like, "Yeah, Darkrai." So I think we're going to be seeing more legendary Pokemon soon.
Next one is he just picked up the Rayquaza movie. He's like, "Yeah, Rayquaza."
Yeah, there you go. It all makes sense now, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
He got the Entei one too. So.
It's all up to the movie makers.
They have more power than they know. Alright, from Adam Garcia, why is Brit so handsome? I guess that can aim towards anybody.
Yeah.
The other one asked,
Damn.
why is he so beautiful? Or when did he decide to be so beautiful?
Oh.
This one is, why is Brit so handsome?
Well,
Same answer, because I play Pokemon.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess we'll move on to a new question. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of new questions. Just refresh the page. I don't know if we'll be able to answer all of them, but let's see. From James Proctor, this question is for Brit. Do you like my cooking?
Yes. You're a very good grill person, James. I enjoyed your cookout.
And he also asked Brit, who is your hero?
It's a loaded question. There's only one answer, and it's James Proctor, ladies and gentlemen, is my hero. So, sorry for anyone else out there.
Alright, got a lot of questions for Brit. Most of them are not very serious, but we'll ask them nonetheless.
I don't like where this is going.
From Adam Garcia, once again. It says, there's a question for Brit. Who is the most attractive player in the game? And he says, exclude Colin Mall, because it's pretty much a fact that he's fabulous.
Oh, well, there goes my answer. But I guess my fallback answer is Aaron Curry. It's those eyes. Those eyes get me every time, and I know they get the ladies every time, so Aaron Curry.
Yep, he does have those eyes. Alright, and from Brad, I never knew how to pronounce his last name. Curcio? Is that how you say it?
Curcio. Italian.
Curcio. Sorry. Oh. Question for Brit, will you marry me?
No.
Ouch. And then he says, also, how sad would you have been if I died today?
Not very.
I'm glad I asked these questions. Okay, from Nicholas Sinnard, ask Brett if he can give us some light on the healing cards he used in Entei EX. And he wants to know if you think Zekrom Electric is still viable or if it's dead.
I said I talked about my healing cards at the beginning of the show. I guess I don't play Lifer, but I play all of the other ones. And then Zekrom Electric, I still think is really strong. I mean, maybe you have to play Terrakion and Fighting Energy, maybe you don't, but I still think to a certain extent that an Eviolite Mewtwo EX is still really good against Darkrai. So Zekrom Electric was a deck that could do that pretty well with Mewtwo last format, and there's no reason why it couldn't still keep doing it this format. So Zekrom EX or Zekrom Electric is still very viable. Don't get rid of it.
Yeah, you haven't played Lifer, but I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely on the scale of like Crushing Hammer, where your opponent sees it and they're like, oh no, you better not flip heads.
I get double heads with Moo Moo Milk every time, so it's the same thing.
Milk.
Well, I mean, if you flip double heads, then you're already going to flip one head. So why not remove the special conditions too?
That Entei mirror does get pretty tricky when you have to burn each other.
There you go.
I think
You
I
can
would
play
have.
Victini in that too.
I played Lifer,
You know,
but
with
Does
the
not work
Lifer
on
back in the
trainers.
day.
Does not work on trainers.
What? Oh.
Victini does not work on trainers.
Does it
Otherwise,
say it on the card?
It's only on attacks, man.
yeah. Otherwise, you would be playing Victini Crushing Hammer in like every deck.
That's the format.
It's alright, Ben. This is why we're here, to learn.
Yeah.
But, from Isaac Soto, what guys do you plan on playing for Nationals? Not that we probably even know yet, but if you had to decide right now, what would you play for Nationals? Nationals is in 2 hours. What do you play?
Darkrai,
Kyle, you go first.
Currently, all I have the cards for are Zekrom Electric, and I would throw in some Terrakions, and I would play that deck once again.
I'll play that too then.
I think I would literally show up with a Darkrai deck and a Terrakion Electric deck, and then just be like, pick one for me, please. And I just and whatever they pick, I just play.
Ben, what are you playing? Nationals in 2 hours. You have to decide.
Darkrai, Terrakion.
Okay.
Build that deck in 5 minutes. Play.
Only deck I
Play
got the
Sure
cards
Man.
for is 6 corners, so I'm feeling too confident. Hopefully I can.
I don't
scrounge
know
together
how
some
good Leaf
Zekroms.
Wall Up is anymore.
I think it's good versus Zekrom, dude, but nothing else.
Oh boy, you're still clinging on to hope for that Rizian, aren't you?
I was until I saw that tournament report from Norway. And then I cried. I cried on the inside.
There's a question about a Japanese format, but most of us probably aren't too familiar about it, so unfortunately we won't get into that. From Adam Garcia, this is for Brit. Have you ever had the intention of raising a Loudred?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can really answer this question on the stream. It's very personal, but if given the option, I would more than advocate for everyone to raise their own Loudred, and if they were given the opportunity. So.
Alright, and we'll leave it at that. From Andrew Wembolt, can you guys discuss the advantages and disadvantages of sticking with one deck throughout a tournament series and just making improvements to that one deck compared to trying out a bunch of different decks throughout a tournament series? So whoever wants to jump on that one first.
The advantage of sticking with one deck is that you really find out what cards work in the current format if you keep playing the deck, and eventually your deck gets better. And the obvious disadvantage is if the deck is limited in how good it is, like it's not a very good deck. Like I was playing ZPS for like, I don't know, half of my cities, and it just wasn't that good of a deck. Sure, I had a really good list at the end of the series before I decided to switch, but it just ended up not being that good. And I think the worst part about trying out a bunch of different decks is that you're going to be playing a bunch of decks that aren't also very good. Versus if you just play one or two decks and then find the deck initially that's pretty good or one of the best decks, and you just keep working on that, I think that has the most advantages.
Good answer. Anybody else?
Thanks.
The Great White Hope did it.
I actually kind of want to aim this at Brit because, for the most part, what I've noticed is you kind of shy away from playing like the popular decks. Like I think for States, you were one of the first people to use the Landorus Terrakion deck, and then just at Battle Roads, you were using Entei and the Truth. So, what's your opinion on this? You seem to use a bunch of different decks, and in a lot of cases, rogue decks. So, which approach do you think is better? Just sticking with one deck or going all over the place?
Well, I think ultimately the most important part is understanding your metagame. So, like, even if, say, you're playing Zekrom Electric at your first 2 weekends of States, you show up to your third States, and everyone's playing, like, fighting decks and stuff like that. Maybe in the case like that, you should switch decks. But I think I would advocate really sticking with one deck and fine-tuning your list as the season progresses. You learn matchups better that way, and you just learn, like I said earlier, what cards work and what cards don't. But I think maybe a reason this season I may be playing different decks, or maybe not the most popular deck, is I'm just not a fan of the mirror matches. Most of the mirror matches in this format. I mean, I don't really have a problem anymore with the first turn rule, but the mirrors, that could almost just decide the game right there. If you're playing a card for card mirror, almost the exact same list, you win the coin flip, you gotta start doing stuff first, and thus you're almost always at the advantage. So I think that's probably a reason why I didn't play a deck like Zekrom Electric at States or Regionals. And then another thing with Rogue is, if you play a Rogue or a different deck or some cards that people don't necessarily know what they do, people won't know how to play against you. They may make misplays because they just simply don't know what your cards do. And creating an advantage for yourself like that is certainly a good thing. So that's all I got.
Yeah, there's definitely advantages to doing that. I think when I first really started playing competitively, I was more the type of person who would play all sorts of different stuff. In fact, I was pretty much known for using nothing but second-rate decks that were just weird for the sake of being weird.
Kabutops.
Yeah, Kabutops, Meganium, Lantern, whatever you want to say. All these decks that were just kind of second-rate, but they were used for the advantage of facing people, and they're just being like, "Can I read your cards? Because I have no idea what that does." That was always a good feeling. But as time went on, I've kind of taken the approach to just picking one deck and sticking to it. Even if it's not always the best deck, that can be a fault. Like Ben said, you could just end up sticking with your ZPS throughout a whole tournament series. I think it's important to just get comfortable with the deck sometimes. You definitely learn how to play something the more you use it. So if my example, of course, is going to be Dialga, which I used for, as long as it was in existence, pretty much. I used it for 3 years in a row, pretty much, and by the end of that SP format. I mean, I had pretty much known the deck inside and out. It could be a pretty tricky deck to play at times, but after you play it so much, you just kind of know every situation, and you don't really have to think about it anymore. So the merit of playing the same deck over and over is that nothing really catches you off guard anymore, and you get to fine-tune your list. But the advantage of picking different decks is that you can adapt to the metagame, and maybe you can catch people off guard. So it's all about what makes you comfortable and what you think fits your style. There's no cookie-cutter answer for it, I don't think. Anyone else have anything they want to throw in?
Next.
Okay. From Chris Gampy, I don't know if I pronounced your last name, sorry. Since you beat Klinklang into the ground, what do you think about Darkrai, Terrakion, Mewtwo with Vileplume and Miscellaneous? Sounds like a lot of stuff going on.
Why Miss Magus?
I don't know.
I'm gonna Google
The
Miscellaneous
Poltergeist,
to see what it
because
does.
you have Vileplume out, so they can't play trainers, and then you Poltergeist them.
Oh, it's that Miscellaneous?
Poltergeist.
Is there an...
Isn't there one?
There's the one that moves energy too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
Probably plays.
that would probably make more sense.
It
Yeah,
uses
or
both.
both.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you can play it like the, what's
It's like a mini Klinklang.
Yeah. Ooh.
How do you heal your damage?
Listen,
You
You
Eclipse.
got,
Get
you
that
got
in there.
Vileplume. You don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
Felicity? I don't know.
No, there's no healing.
You just attack.
There's no catcher, so you retreat it. It's fine.
What happens when your bench gets full?
Seeker.
Yeah, now what, Drew?
You got
Ship
me.
it.
You got me.
Alright, well, obviously none of us have used the deck, so let's move on. From Justin Fearless Sanchez, this one's also for Brit. Says he's at a club right now. Apparently he's watching this from a club.
He's at a Getty.
And he was wondering the technique he uses to court females. What technique?
I bring my Pokemon decks with me wherever I go, even a club. And if I'm at a club, they'll accidentally fall out of my pockets, and I'll scramble to pick them off the floor. And an attractive lady will generally come down to help me pick them up, and then boom, the conversation has started. So, Justin,
Next
I
thing
hope
you
that
know,
works
they're
for
play
you.
testing.
Next thing you know, so Justin, I hope that works. I know it will. What am I thinking? So, have fun.
It's gotta
I
be
mean-
like a Togepi or a Pikachu that falls out. The cute Pokemon.
It's not manly. You need to have a Darkrai in there.
Nah, it's
They don't even know what
my
that is.
J-Witz card.
James. I don't know if that one would work too well.
I think
but
it would.
it would be a conversation starter. I'll give you that much. From Isaac Soto, is there any way Pooka could play Krim in a best of 7 Darkrai versus Klinklang? He wants to see me put Krim in his place. Maybe.
Prim's already in his place. We don't need to waste time for that.
Oh, man.
Wish
Don't
Krim was
worry.
here.
He'll never watch
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
From Chris Bianchi. How good is Lugia Legend? This deck did win a Battle Road. Does knock out any EX in one hit. What do you think about it?
It's on the same level as Klinklang.
Pretty high level.
Yeah.
Same level.
Yeah. I
That's
went
pretty
there.
impressive.
Gotta be a
I
step
went
below.
there. No. Same level. Yep. Next.
Ben, what do you think? No,
Kind of
Ben
fun.
first.
It's a Lugia Legend piece. If you're taking prizes with that thing, you're on the top level, man. You are just wrecking some face, and the game is fun. I don't see any better card I just pop that baby out. Oh, Legend Box. Nothing? Junk Arm Legend Box. Let's go. Lugia Legend. Knock out your Darkrai. What?
Did you know, if you play a Legend Box, and you get the Lugia Legend, if you put it down, you can actually still use its power. Because it's just in play. It doesn't have to come from your hand. So you look at the top 10, you can take any energy from there, and you can also use the power and look at your top 5 to get more energy. So you could Elemental Blasts. A lot of stuff. It's actually not that tough. Just hitting a Lugia off the Legend Box is tough. I had a lot of bad memories with Legend Box. But it did win a Battle Road. I don't know how good it actually is. But,
Is there anything that can... Oh, you can just play a bunch of research records.
Yeah. I mean, the way the deck works is you just kind of try to mill through your deck as fast as possible and get a really small deck, and then you just super rod all Lugia pieces back in your deck and energy, so your deck just becomes like all Lugia pieces and energy. So then you can Legend Box and just power it up in one turn. Whether or not you can actually pull that off is another story.
Sounds
Alright. From Brendan Clark, what is Brit's favorite breed of cats?
I honestly couldn't tell you the name of a cat breed, but
Try describing it.
Mine
the
is
orange
root cats.
one. I think tabby. That's a kind of cat.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Okay, we'll go with that. From Dax Edmiston, hey guys, I was watching Jay Witz's Nationals daily reports from last year's Nationals, and he saw a Krim in the background of one of the shots. And he was thinking it would be cool if we did daily tournament reports, like shots of what's going on throughout the day, and would we have a chance to do that? And yeah, I think that's something we'll try to do. We're actually going to try our best to stream from Nationals, so it'll be better than a daily tournament report, I hope. Hopefully we'll be able to stream some games, and hopefully we'll be able to do commentary by the time Top Cut rolls around. So we're just waiting on permission to see if we can pull that off. But definitely much more coverage from Nationals this year.
Hold on. This guy that asked that question yesterday, he sent me a message, a Facebook message, that he got his haircut like Pooka in honor of Pooka. And he was supposed to post a picture of it. And I wanted to say I'm just disappointed in him that he didn't post that picture.
You're going to put the two next to each other and be like, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah. He sent me
I'm
a
honored.
Facebook message last night. That was his message.
Because honestly, I don't know what Kyle looks like by face. I just recognize him by his hair. I see it spiked up and I'm just like, that's Kyle.
I'm going to throw you off one day. I'm not going to gel my hair, and I'm going to come with sunglasses.
I'll see the CM Punk shirt and I'll be like, oh, it's Kyle!
Oh, I didn't plan that one out. Alright, from Jason Lindsay. Hey Brit, if you had 1,000 picks, would Krim make that list?
How many Masters were there last year? Would I even have an option?
About
Like-
1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if my list has to be that big, I think I would pick him.
Where out of the 1,000 would he land?
600
Like at what point do you say, okay, I actually have to pick Krim?
I don't know. If I had 1,000, he would be 666. So if that says anything, I'm not sure what will. He's a
Good. Alright, we'll leave it at that. Alright, from Ty Smith, question for Brit. Why did you steal my bear this weekend? He says this is a legitimate question.
I really don't know what he's talking about.
That's a good answer. Deny, deny, deny.
Alright, we'll
Sorry.
just forget that one happened. Dwayne Schonberg, he's wondering why none of us picked Jason Kluzinski on our Nationals list.
Because I feel like deep down he's just going to pick Durant. so in my heart I can't pick him.
Because he sucks. Washed up.
You guys got anything to say? How come you didn't pick the great Ness?
I used to be in my top 3 before I was there. I took down Maryland States and I just realized my potential.
Alright. We'll I actually have some questions from Twitter. And then we'll call it a night. Let's see. From Psyduck ESP. Because I know it's slow and inconsistent, but do you think Typhlosion Reshiram has a chance? Typhlosion can't be knocked out in one hit by Electric, and with Terrakion running rampant, Reshiram is not countered as easily. So do you think Typhlosion could make a comeback?
Well, it does kind of it is kind of counterproductive against Darkrai. You know, you kind of damage your own things, and then Darkrai just picks it off. I would say it hasn't made a comeback since last tournament series, so no. I think it's kind of done, at least for now. Maybe next year.
Anyone think Typhlosion's got a shot? Drew, I think you were the last one to actually play that deck.
Yeah, may it rest in peace. That's it. Done.
Does anyone think Typhlosion has a chance?
We can kind of go back to like what Ben was talking about earlier, about there's a limit to how good a deck can be. And even if you want to stick onto it, and you can have the best Typhlosion list in the world, there's a limit on what you can do with Typhlosion.
Yeah, I mean, Electric's pretty much just better than Typhlosion. The only thing that Typhlosion has going for it is the weakness, which it actually still doesn't matter, because getting a stage 2 out it's not worth it, because you need to get multiple stage 2s out. Not like Klinklang where you can get 1 out and you're good the whole game. You actually have to get like 2 or 3 Typhlosions going, which that's the kind of stage 2 deck that doesn't work anymore. And from Edmund Nelson, what do you guys think about running Tornadus, the regular one, in Darkrai Tornadus? Not the EX.
I like the EX.
Yeah, I think the reason why you wouldn't run the other one is it just takes too much energy. Like, Tornadus EX, you can just drop a double colorless and you can hit for 60, but the other one takes 3 energy. It doesn't really work. You can't Dark Patch to it either. But you guys think it's worth running?
No.
Nope.
Nope. No.
Maybe.
I mean, when you have a Tornadus that has 110 HP, and you have a Tornadus that has, what is it, 170, 180? Well, a lot of more HP. And you give them both Eviolite, the one with more HP wins. And it does more damage.
If you want to take a knockout and you don't have any Smeargles in play, and they're on an even number of prizes, and all the other Pokemon you play is EX, could be useful there. Other than that,
You can.
just because they still have to knock out an extra Pokemon, just because the rest of them are EXs.
Alright. Last question for the night. Isaiah Middleton. Will Brit hang out with me at Nationals even though I'm just a lowly Michael Jackson looking scrub?
Sure. Let's hang out, Isaiah.
I was hoping you'd be like, no.
Alright. Well, sorry we didn't get to all the questions, but that probably would have taken all night. So we're going to cut it off there. This is actually a pretty long show, much longer than I thought it would go. So, thank you to Brit and Ben for filling in for Krim, who didn't show up. Brit was our guest for tonight. Ben just kind of filled in. Krim didn't show up, but thanks to both of you. And do you guys have any shout-outs? Anyone you want to say hi to? before we go off the air. And we'll start with Brit.
I don't have any shout-outs, but I promised I didn't tell people to ask me questions, so I'll apologize for that. That was their own doing. I'm a nice guy.
So you got to say, man? You want to thank anybody?
No.
All right, fair enough. Ben?
Yeah, I want to thank my mom and my dad. Really supported me. This whole Pokemon thing. I want to thank the Top Cut for having me on the show. I want to thank the fans for watching the show. Keep on watching. It's a great thing we're trying to do here for the Pokemon community. Follow me on Twitter at XGWH, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ben. Alright, Drew?
Welcome.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Follow me on Twitter. I'm catching up who am I catching up to? Krim. I'm catching up to Krim, so put me over, Krim. You know he's the worst. He skipped the show tonight. Come on, guys. He's probably at Taco Bell eating a couple chicken burritos. That cool. Good luck at Battle Roads. Anyone that's going, I'm gonna probably go to 1 or 2 this weekend, so I'll update you on Twitter. That's about it for me.
Alright, Pram?
Well, thanks guys for watching. I think we're on the Crib didn't show up count. I think it's been mentioned 4 or 5 times in the last 5 minutes, so that's a huge plus. Follow me on Twitter at Michael Pramwatt. Also, follow all of us and maybe unfollow Crims23, maybe.
Yeah.
Can't even show up for his job.
He's not here to defend himself, so I feel like it's appropriate to attack his Twitter. That or spam him, whichever is your preference. And, I'll just let Kyle take it away.
Alright, well, again, I want to thank Britt and Ben for showing up. And also, if you guys watching want to see anybody come on the show, any guests or anything like that, let us know. Tweet us at TopCutPokemon or get us on Facebook, TopCutPokemon as well. And otherwise, just the usual stuff. Follow us all on Twitter. Britt unfortunately doesn't have a Twitter, so you can't follow him. So go find him on Facebook or something, I guess, or go on Hate Trainer and find him. But otherwise, check out our YouTube channel, which is also Top Cut Pokemon. Check out our site, thetopcut.net. We've got our playmats on sale if you're interested. We just printed those. We got them ready to go. And thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support tonight, guys. It was fun, all the questions. Hopefully we can have each show be this fun. And next week we'll try to bring in somebody new. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Woo!